Well, here we are, folks. Welcome back. I think you remember Michael, the sea captain. You probably don't remember me, Tony, the reluctant professor. And first, a little straight talk here.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation. I realize it meanders a bit. That's how conversations work.
It takes a minute.
Yeah,
it takes a minute.
And like, Michael and I live on separate boats, okay? Like, every once in a while I gotta say, hey bro, what's going on in your life? I haven't seen you for a while. And he's gonna do the same with me. What we're trying to say is, in the conversation, stick through the first few minutes till we get to the meat of it. I think you're gonna like it. And if you don't, you get to tell us that too. So your opinion still counts, but you gotta hang in for a while.
Bring it.
Okay.
Bring it.
Now that being said, my God, the last conversation, that was just a bit rough, Michael. I think
It was a bit rough, and I thought about it all week, about how we do it. But, you know, in that, I saw where that applied to my work in community. It's about the community and how we bring a true self, a well-lived life within community. How do we bring our best self to the community?
Okay.
So maybe we'll spend some time kind of talking about what is community and
Yeah. So I mean, the last episode we were talking about non-attachment, and non-attachment. I mean, it's core to the whole Stoic project. But here's the problem: it does come across as brutal. I mean, you say, well, don't be attached to the fact that you're away from your family or friends. Don't be attached to your failing health. Don't be.
Doesn't mean I don't care.
Exactly. So I mean, maybe the brutality wasn't well deserved, but it still came across as brutal. And I think you're right. I think community, which is a good, solid Stoic principle as well. Community built out of, I don't know, let's just call them rugged individuals. That's a tough comment maybe, but rugged individuals make up strong communities.
So, I mean, we're all fans of Seneca, right?
Yeah,
who kind of, while he certainly didn't invent Stoicism, he embraced it. I mean, this dude ran an empire.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. Exactly.
A big community.
Okay.
So where was I going with this? But he cared, right? It was,
Yes.
And you have run organizations. I've run organizations.
Exactly.
And bringing this, that, or the other in an unattached way doesn't mean we're disconnected from the community. No. Maybe we're building community in that.
Right, and this is, let's be clear, folks. Talking to Michael, I'm talking to you too. This is my great failure. Over more than 20 years of being a leader, maybe closer to 30 if we want to stretch it, I did all the things you're supposed to do as a young guy. I listened to people's opinions. I elevated those opinions up so that everyone could understand, collected information, put out options to make decisions, and then in the end, we came to a conclusion. Well, no, we didn't come to a conclusion. I came to a conclusion. And then, by God, I went like a pit bull to make that happen. That all sounds great, but if you're trying to build more than just a solution, if you're trying to build community, that's not how you do it. I had 2/3 of it right, and the last 3 that I was missing, man, it was just a nightmare. And I kept doubling down on that time and time again. After about 20 years, maybe we learned some new stuff. But I think you've got a better background.
I don't know. We talked earlier about how we might run an organization or be part of a community. Yeah. You know, it's important. It's important to include that community. Everybody has value.
Yes.
Everybody has value. And remember, stoically, I'm responsible for my feelings, and you're responsible for your feelings.
Yes.
And as a community, we're each individually responsible for our community, our own feelings, but we're also responsible to put forth our views,
Exactly.
whether they be incorporated into the decision. But it's important as a forced, organizational leader. Quite often, I've sat at the top of the table, and with an idea. What do you think? 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 I wanted to hear what the community consensus was. It doesn't mean that's where I was going to go.
No.
But it was important to hear.
Yes. And the non-attachment piece comes back here. So this is what I did poorly. And I can just summarize because I did it poorly so many times. I can remember all the details. I can give you the Cole's notebook sort of overview here. What I would do is I would seek out those opinions and I would get them and I would incorporate them publicly. I would incorporate them and I would elevate views that even I didn't agree with. But in the end, the problem was I would come to my conclusion very rapidly. Out of all that data, that's the problem. I treated people's opinions, loves,
No, no,
hates
no, no,
as
no,
data.
no, no, no,
And
no,
that's
no, no, no,
bullshit.
no, no. Yeah.
So now we're at the heart and soul of it as far as I'm concerned. Strong communities come out of strong individuals. But what makes a strong individual? And I think, give it to me.
Right. So even as not in, this is not a leadership course, by the way. This is just a course in life.
Yeah.
Right. So even as a member of that community, I need to put forth my authentic self.
Yes. Authenticity.
We got a whole nother conversation about what makes an authentic self.
You got it.
But I have to have the courage,
Yes.
the confidence,
Yes.
to put forth my ideas and ideals
Yep.
without being attached to them.
Oh my God, this is virtue. This is virtue. Now it finally starts to come together for me. This is why we have these conversations. I finally understand. So Aurelius does this so well because, as you recall, Meditations, Aurelius, he didn't set out to publish a damn thing.
No.
What he was doing was writing a notebook of helpful hints to remind himself, almost in a diary-like manner, how he had to keep trying and try harder and to be a better man. Like, these were his suggestions to himself about what to keep in mind, to what to let go of. So when he starts Meditations, book 1, he gives thanks. He gives gratitude for those that taught him many of these hard lessons. Teachers, parents, enemies, allies. Well, he was running an empire too, let's be clear. And he starts from gratitude, and then he remembers with a certain sense of humbleness that he's still on the road. He's on the road to being the kind of man he knows he should be, the philosopher who's also an emperor in this case. And how does he do it? He does it by reflecting, by trying to be authentic, by trying to remind himself of the Stoic principles that he was trying to follow, and realizing that he was still at it. He was not at the end of the journey, he was in the middle of it.
And isn't that, Tony, what we're doing here? We don't have the answers.
No.
And I don't know. We're not trying to give you answers. What we're doing here is working out between us,
Yes.
and just sharing maybe our process of how we do this.
Yes.
Over the 3 years that we've done this.
Haven't
Haven't we learned a lot from each other?
We have. I think I've got a lot more to go too, but that's the essence of it, and that's what makes it fun. So, I mean, Michael, I enjoy learning from you, man.
And you. And we're looking forward to learning something from you, so keep it coming. Now, back to community and
Yes.
non-attachment. It's something to wrestle around.
Yeah, it is. It is. So once I began to understand community, it wasn't about everyone agreeing or everyone doing the same thing or coming from the same background or looking the same. It wasn't community as in everyone's so common that you couldn't distinguish between them. It was about differences too, authentic differences. We're going to get to authenticity. We don't have time. We need a lifetime to talk about authenticity, but we'll get there in a couple videos.
I don't know, 62 years.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have it yet.
No, I'm working on it. That's all I got to say. But once I understood that community was about strong, capable individuals who were focused on being individuals but were not attached. They weren't rigid in time. They could learn, they could grow, they could change. Then communities can learn and grow and change too. So community's not static. It's not static. We have communities, like we were just talking the other day, there's people I haven't seen for 10, 15, 20, hell, 30 years. I don't call them an acquaintance, I don't call them a former friend. They are part of my community.
Of course.
They drop me a line once in a while, social media lets you do that. But in truth, the last time we actually connected in person and said something really of meaning around that, for God's sake, I was still chasing after my wife who was even a girlfriend at that point. I've been married a long time. So I mean, community is an interesting thing. It's fluid, it changes, it's based on individuals. We share something, but there's differences.
Overlap.
Yeah.
Intertwine.
Yeah. And we can have a common goal as a community. That common goal might even change. Ideally, that's a common goal, not as I gave in the examples of my poor leadership, my decision about what the common goal was. Sometimes you have to make decisions, that's fine. But people have got to have a say in that, and they have to be part of that. If you're asking them to be part of the solution, they have to be part of the process to get there too.
Remember a term that I think
Here we go.
I exposed these: rigid flexibility.
Oh my God.
Rigid flexibility. How do I, as an individual, we may have leaked the term rugged individualism.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Ayn Rand did not invent that phrase.
No.
Would you say that Seneca was a rugged individual
My God,
that
he
worked
espoused
for
it.
the benefit of the community?
Exactly.
So, and it's the same thing we do here.
Yeah.
Same thing we do here.
Exactly. So yeah, the other thing about community that's really cool when we start thinking about, especially Aurelius, but also Seneca, and frankly any of the Stoics, is they spend a lot of time thinking about the logos. And like logos is a subject like we can go on forever, but logos is kind of like the natural order of things.
Right.
It's logical, but it is, and the logos is in all of us. If you read Aurelius in particular, he has to remind himself of that. Even the people that do him wrong, that treat him poorly, the logos is in them too. And as he would say, in essence, can I paraphrase him? My God, can you paraphrase Aurelius? This is going to be complicated. No, it's not.
No, you can't.
We're just going to go where we can with it. But the whole point of the logos is that everything is part of it. So even as you have a difficulty, someone does you wrong, how could it be otherwise that they would have done you wrong, in essence? That doesn't mean it's predetermined, but it means they are part of the natural order of things. So just as you try to enhance your virtue as an individual and be a giving member of your community, so also will others tear you down for that, criticize it.
In a Taoist kind of way, right?
Yes.
You can't have that which is without that which is not.
Exactly.
Right. So we work
Exactly.
for a balance in between. Man, we just took a leap.
So
we told you there'd be some left and right here.
So I've got to ask you. Maybe he does too, but I've got to ask you. If you think the idea of incorporating some Taoist understandings into Stoicism, you're not alone. We've thought about it too. And if you say, "What up with that, you crazy reluctant professor and the sea captain," then we could go there, and we'd love to go there.
We would. Okay. So this is a short one. There's so much to unpack here.
Of course. There'll be more. But let's be clear. Out of what seemed like a brutal conversation, we're actually talking about an incredibly positive, not just hopeful, a positive, actionable outcome.
Absolutely agree.
Like how do you deal with non-attachment? Build other types of healthy attachments that are Stoic in nature, that serve the community as well as the rugged individual that you bring to the table.
Right. So what we're saying, if I can recognize that I'm an important individual,
Yes.
and I bring my authentic self.
Exactly.
How about my neighbor over there? Might he have a part in our community?
In fact, I think he does, by the logos,
Or she.
even if I don't agree with he or she at all.
Right.
They still have a part of
They
it.
still have a part of it.
Okay, so
Being a part of our community, please drop a comment, make a note, give us a thumbs up, and most certainly give us a follow. All right, until next time,
see you next time, folks.
we're out.
Okay, that's appropriate. It's short.